Good morning. Yeah, so I think I ended up yesterday's episode by saying that the barbettes were out of round. But I was checking later and I found that no, they're not as bad as I thought. They are pretty round. I guess it was just the way I happened to lay the card on top of the barbette and it just seemed out of round, but anyway. I don't know if I'm going to actually use this idea. It would be a really good idea if I was to spray it. Now, I'm sort of thinking out loud here again. It would be much faster to spray the sides than it would be to try and paint them with a brush. No question about it. I don't know. I'm noticing when I'm looking down on the barbette now, there's a sort of almost like a flange at the bottom of each one. Well, we'll look at that later. Okay. So, how is it that I have a little bug in a jar here? Well, a little while ago I was watching a rabbit eating at the carrots, and I could see little bugs crawling out from underneath the carrots. So I grabbed my insect aspirator and out I go. And my insect aspirator is designed mainly for really, really tiny insects, and even a baby one of these, I don't know what you would call it. I'm interested in insects, but I don't know the names of them. I know the difference between a spider and a fly. Anyway, even a baby one wouldn't fit in my insect aspirator. He sort of got stuck on the end of it, and I was able to get it. Maybe we'll put the macro lens on and we'll look at it later, and I'm sure somebody's going to comment and say, oh, that's I once had somebody over and one of these things was crawling across the floor. We got thousands of them here in Winnipeg. Well, millions actually. Anyway, and one of them was crawling around, and I said, we got a lot of these in the house. And he said something to the effect of, that's a sawbug, or I think that's what he called it. Now, that might not be the real name. It doesn't matter. This is about the model ship. It's not about the insects. I get sidetracked real bad. And I'd say I'm sorry, except I'm not supposed to keep saying I'm sorry, so I won't. Okay, I do want to paint the sides of these barbettes or turret bases today and get that done. There's looks like there's 9 of them. Yeah, it's too bad. It's really too bad that I didn't spray them first and then put masking tape around and then do the deck tan. Well, we'll be okay. We'll get it done. Well, we did have a sunrise this morning. Nothing spectacular. It was just a sunrise. Better than some days. At least it's not cloudy and rainy. Although, mind you, looking outside right now, it kind of looks like we might get rain today. But that's all right. It's not raining here on the model table. And my model table will stay dry as long as I don't spill my coffee. My manual has dried up here, so it was only the top page got a little splatter. And when I tried to wipe it off, I smeared it. and the place here where the coffee spilt the worst turned back to green. Okay, oh, one more thing, kind of interesting. Got a comment from Tennessee Jim, and he was saying that for my for this thing here, to micro adjust it, I could use a threaded rod, and I think he said threaded rod. Well, I commented back and said I've got one too, and I do. I've got threaded rod downstairs, but then I found this little bolt, which would be just perfect. I don't know if I'm going to somehow, redesign this, but boy, I got to be careful here. This thing here is sharp, and it's going to stick into whatever. As long as it doesn't stick into me. Okay, let's carry on here this morning. Try and get some painting done on the sides of the barbettes, because it's I want to do that before I fasten the deck down onto the hull. And before we fasten the deck onto the hull, we got to paint the hull. We got a long ways to go here, and I'm messing around with insect aspirators and little bolts, and yeah, you'd almost think I don't want to do this, but I do. I do want to do this. I'm going to end up spilling my coffee again. Now, a lot of time has passed here. I got busy doing other things here this morning. In fact, right now it's this afternoon already. Just barely, but it is this afternoon. And yeah, the barbette is pretty much round. No, I haven't measured it accurately. Undoubtedly, it's kind of conical or cone-shaped. In other words, the circumference would be smaller up here at the top than it would be at the bottom. It would have to be so that it could be released from the mold. But for all intents and purposes, if we measure just at the top, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll go this way first, just at the very top. Okay. And we'll see if it's the same when we go turn it 90 degrees. Yeah, it's almost exactly the same. So I don't know what I was looking at there yesterday. Okay, now we were talking about, it looked like there was a flange all the way around the bottom of the mount. And I was just wondering how would it be if I was to paint down to that flange and also paint the flange? Would I be able to do it without having it wick into the planking, if you know what I mean? Or is it just going to end up being looking like I did a real bad job of painting, and I might be better off just leaving it deck tan? And yet that doesn't look right either. No, there is going to be air vents and what have you all the way around the outside. They go on the other side here as well. I'll move this a bit here. Okay, now you see the front one. There's undoubtedly some things that are going to be plugged in around it, but I don't think they're anything to do with air vents, because it's fairly short. In fact, you'd probably have to be careful you didn't bump your head on the. Wouldn't be able to walk underneath the turret. In other words, I think maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it. I'm going to try and very carefully paint down to and including what I'm calling a flange. Makes sense to me because this thing would not be deck tan. It would be something else. Probably the same as the side of the barbette or gun mount. I'll get it right yet eventually. It doesn't really matter as long as everybody knows what I'm talking about. Then there's one at the back as well here. Well, I don't mean the back. I mean the aft one. Okay. Yeah. It's almost identical to the front one. All right, let's see if we can't do something here. Okay, we just have sort of a, you might call it a dry run. I don't even have any paint on my brush. In fact, I'm not even sure where my number 66 is at the moment. But I'm thinking if I could just go down and just paint maybe the flange first. Or am I going to end up having it kind of slop over, if you know what I mean? I just want the top of the flange done, not the edge. Like the flange is slightly raised up, maybe half a millimeter. At least that's what it appears. It looks like it's maybe half a millimeter or less above the deck. And if I could just do just the top of it, just the top, I think I can. Oh, can I get on the sides here? Yeah, and then what I can do is just turn the deck over and do the other way. Yeah, I can get in from this side as well. I think I can do that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it on camera or not. Very, very carefully, I think I can do it. And if it does go a little bit into the deck tan, and then then maybe I could touch it up with the deck tan later, or maybe no, I don't want to be messing with the panel line color because it'll wick out, and then I'll be busy trying to feather stuff in and make it fix up a mess. Okay, let's see if I can find my paint here, or would I be better off using this little brush here? Once again, I'm just doing a dry run. I'm not real experienced at this. I've just done enough to know that I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. All right, where's my paint? Now you will remember that I brought in a little bug a few minutes ago. Well, I guess right now it'd be a few hours ago. Anyway, I later thought I'm going to try and find a bigger one. Well, as it turned out, I opened the door and went out, and at the same time, Missy was coming out. Well, we had to have a little chat. Yeah, that's such a nice little dog. And the best part about it is, I don't have to look after it. Anyway, I turned over a rock, and sure enough, I did find a bigger one. And I brought it in. But you know what? It died. Yeah, and I didn't squash it. It just died. Probably had a heart attack. Anyway, we'll be looking at the little one. No, don't worry. I'll vacuum this up. Now, where's my dot? Oh, there it is. Now our little bug, he just doesn't want to cooperate here. It looks like I've accidentally injured him. One of his antennas is missing. Okay. Now, does anybody know what kind of bug is this? See if I can turn him upside down. You'll see he's very segmented. Let's get rid of some of this stuff here. I don't want to grab it with tweezers because I end up crushing it. It will not stay on that black dot, will it? You know, my mistake was having all these little rocks because it gives them something to hang on to here. Yeah, it can't turn itself over because it's laying on its back on a glass microscope slide right now. But it looks like it's made up of a whole bunch of little segments. Okay. Let's do something model related. Okay, I've got my magnification hood on. And we'll just start over here on the side. Now remember, I'm only worried about the flange right now. We'll get the barbette later. By the way, the number 66 that I'm using right now is the thinned out version. Okay, I think that this is actually going to work. I almost touched the deck there. Okay, I realize I'm probably getting out of your field of view there. I wonder if, while I've got it like this, should I be maybe trying to see if I can't paint the barbette? Or should I let it dry first? Let me get some more on there. I know I'm kind of almost pooling it on, aren't I? Now it doesn't matter if I get it on here like this, because the turret is going to be sitting on that. I don't want to have to do 2 coats. Okay, I think that this is going to work. Okay, I'm just going to clean my brush up here. And I'm going to call this episode quits for today. So thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, when we see you tomorrow, they'll all be painted.